Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Okay, doctors, what I want to talk about a little bit right now is what is important is today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow. Now and the future. Now and the future. Not yesterday. Not last year. Not a decade ago. All of that stuff doesn't really matter. And I'm relating this in perspective to doctors that want to take a particular business niche like the personal injury market and they want to expand into it. Right? You can look and you can say, well, gosh, I want to expand into this. With so many doctors that come into our program, and that's what they want to do. They want to expand into the personal injury market. And, one of the things that they'll look at is well, how have they been in the past? Well, geez, in the past, I've been shy about going out to attorneys, or I'm shy. I was probably the shyest of everybody in our group of, thinking, well, I'm not comfortable in the past. I haven't been comfortable doing this. I haven't been comfortable doing that. You're always looking at the past. You're looking at yesterday. You're looking at, well, we do a lot of doctors when they come into the program. Hey, we've gone out and we've talked about spinal ligament injuries and the attorneys don't care. Right. And that's our past. And so our past defines our today and our future. And it's simply not true. The biggest part and the biggest question is, what are you going to do today? What is the tomorrow that you're trying to create? And do you keep that in mind? How big do you want to be, and how big do you perceive yourself to be? See, if I drop down into a clinic, I don't care what my past is. My past is I had a small clinic. My past is I had problems with staff. My past is that I had problems with Medicare billing. My past is that I had a hard time finding a biller. We all have a past. We all have a past, right? And part of life is solving problems. And we've all had problems. Some of us have had more problems. Some of us can tell life stories where you go, wow, that's an incredible situation. But let's talk about, hey, all right, regardless of your past, yesterday is yesterday. If you decide today, I want to be the top spinal injury center in my area, and in the future, I want my clinic known as that. I want my whole community. If I move into, I just got off the phone with a doctor in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to be, in the next 3 years, I don't want anybody in Charlotte, North Carolina not to know about the specific spinal injury center that I'm producing and building. That's what I want. In 3 years, I want everyone in Charlotte to know my clinic. And I want to produce a clinic that does the best services of any center in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm just using Charlotte, North Carolina as an example. Right? That's what I want the future to be. I want my next year, that's called a goal. That's a future goal, something that can't be accomplished right in the very near future. It's a long-term goal. And that's my future. Now, I have to start to look at that future, and I have to keep my eye on the future. So if I were going on an expedition and I was going to the top of Mount Everest, I have to keep my attention on the top of Mount Everest in order to get to the top of Mount Everest. I can't just say, I want to get to Mount Everest and then stop thinking about it, right? Which is the whole concept of write down your goals, put your goals up. Keep looking at the mountain that you're trying to climb, which is your goals. But realistically, when somebody says keep looking at your goals, what they're saying is keep looking at your future. Keep looking at what you're creating in the future. Forget about the past. The past is the past. Look at where you are, what you're doing today, now, and the future. And remember, the moment right now, this very second, is already in the past. Right? So if you look at it, you're creating a life that's in constant motion, and every second of present is now a second in the past or an hour in the past. or a day in the past, or a week in the past, or a year in the past, or a decade in the past, right? You're on this thing that's moving. You're in motion, right? You're creating this life that is moving. So where you want to keep your focus is on the future, on the present, on the future, on the present, on the future. Good. If I'm in the present, what am I looking at? I'm looking at what my decisions, how do they affect my future? How do they affect my future? So if I want to look and somebody said, well, gosh, how would I become known as the top provider in Charlotte, North Carolina? What are things that I could do, right? Both now and in the future. Well, one of the things I would do is I would actually have a patient material, a piece of patient information that's relevant to the patient understanding what spinal injuries are. What are they? Simplified, what are they? There's only 3 of them. And what are the common things that these things cause? And what are the things that most doctors miss with them? Right? I want to give them a piece of information that is a map to finding better doctors, regardless of where they are. If I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm going to have patient information that I want the whole state of North Carolina to have, whether they're coming to treat with me or not. Matter of fact, I want every patient that has a spinal injury in the surrounding states to have my piece of information. Matter of fact, I want anybody in the country to have it. It's digital. It's free. It's not something that I actually have. It doesn't cost me anything. Somebody calls up my office and says, "Hey, I have a friend from Charlotte, North Carolina that said you had a really good piece on spinal injuries, and you had a digital download for it. I'd love to request that. Here's my name. My name is Jeff Kronk. Here's my email address. Could you send it over to me?" Bingo. Yes. What did I just do? I just helped another person. Right? And that other person is going to do what? They're going to help me to achieve my goal. See, when you're starting to achieve your tomorrow, you need help. I doubt that any of you look at your tomorrow or look at your goals and go, oh, my goal is to be on the moon where nobody else is so I can get some peace and quiet. Now, it's maybe not a bad goal. But when you look at it, most of the time your goals are to be with people, to help your family, have nice vacations, to help your family have nice things, nice cars, to have your kids go to wherever they want to go to school. All of those things usually get tied up in goals. So it's about people. And your future goals are about how you can help your people. Well, how you help your people is by creating that tomorrow, is by creating that future where you are the most well-known. So yeah, I would have a patient piece of information that explained, gosh, what are the injuries with a spine? Remember, spinal injuries are the number 1 cause of chronic pain and disability. They're the most expensive. They're the most problematic of anybody in the market. Lumbar is number 1, neck is number 4, and headaches is number 6. So if you look, the numbers are off the charts. I've explained numbers before. The numbers are astronomically off the charts. Now, what's astronomically small is the number of doctors that understand the most common cause and gets down to the most common cause of those conditions and is easily able to communicate that to a public so that they can, 1, receive the communication, understand the communication, and act. Most importantly, act on the communication. So I'm going to have a piece that explains these injuries. I'm going to have a piece that explains what the general symptoms of these injuries are. I'm going to have a piece that explains if you don't get these injuries or you don't get these conditions taken care of, what are the costs associated with it? So it's not something that you want to mess around with. And if you need additional help, what could I do in order to improve my own condition? And what do I need to know? Something short, sweet, and to the point. I would have that I would have it so that there wouldn't be anybody in my area that didn't have that. Because I'm not operating off yesterday. I'm operating off of the future that I want to create. Now, it's okay to look back. Like some of you can look back right now, and we all look back, right? It just doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good to beat yourself up about the back. Oh, wow. I set up a clinic where I have to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And it's just constant, nonstop. I can't take a vacation because I can't figure out how to replace myself. And oh my God, if I lost a week or 2 weeks worth of patients coming in and I lose that income and I have to actually spend that money then, and not only do I lose that money, but I have to spend money on a vacation. Oh my God, it's too gross. It's too bad. I cannot take the time to enjoy my family because it's too expensive. Okay, if you're living that right now, that's your past. If you want to create a different future, then you need to, one, decide what that future is and start creating it. See, you are way bigger, you're way more powerful, and you're way more able than you give yourself credit for. And if you haven't given yourself credit for, I'll give you credit for it right now. You are way bigger, you're way more able, and you're way more capable than what you're giving yourself credit for. Right? Now, if you want to self-limit yourself and say, no, I'm not really all that capable, I'm not all that, then you're not. Right? That's a self-limiting belief. And self-limiting beliefs are problematic. They can be problematic for people. One of the best ways to get rid of those self-limiting beliefs is to align with people that don't have those self-limiting beliefs. Because it's contagious. It can cure you of yours. But the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about on today is there's three parts to your reality. There's your past, there's your present, and there's your future. And what I'm telling you is that your present and your future are the most important thing, not your past. Not your past. Learn from it, fine. Make mistakes, fine. You learn from it. But you don't even have to learn from your mistakes. You just have to decide what you want to create in the future. And if you need to take a look and say, well, the best way for me to create the future is to look back at the past and go, well, these are things I don't want to, that's fine. You can do that, but it's now in the future. What are you doing now, and how is that contributing to your future? That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing to look at. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, just to give you an idea. Again, what I do these podcasts for, and what I do, and we'll have a lot of different podcasts on a lot of different topics, but what I do these is just kind of short, sweet, to give you something to think about, and also to give you a feel for who and what I'm about, what our program's about, what our team is about. Because the things I'm talking about on here, that's what our team at Smart Injury is about. That's the culture. So that you can decide, who do I want to align with? Do I want to align with these guys? Right? If you do, and you have questions about our program, come out to www.smartinjurydoctors.com. Call us at 940-6513. Set up a communication with Chrissy to look at our program. Do a discovery call with us to find out if we align, if this is something that would help you. Because that's what we look to do. That's what I look to do, is to help as many doctors as I possibly can. Not all of them. We're not a fit for everybody. My style is not a fit for everybody. So that's why we openly, and when the last thing I'll finish with is, there's not a program out there that I say is a bad program. There's a lot of personal injury programs out there. I think they all have good parts to it. And I think the people that run them and the leaders of those programs are all good people. Right? We don't run any of them down. My advice is, do them all. Right? Why are you limited? Well, it would cost too much money to do them all. That's a limitation. And I can guarantee you that limitation is not yours. And that's the funny part. That's why it trips you up. It trips you up because you believe it's yours, and it's not. So again, you just got to align yourself with groups and with people that are, that can assist you with getting rid of whatever limitations that you have because of some past that's past. You can't, it's not like I can go back and fix my past. I can't go, well, geez, I don't know. I stole from this grocery store when I was 12 years old. I need to go pay the 27-cent candy bar that I stole from the grocery store back to the store. The store's not even there anymore. Okay, but I can do something in the future. I can help as many people as I can. I can donate to things. There's things that I can do in the future. So it's future, doctors. That's the biggest thing, is the future, today and in the future. So as always, short, sweet, and to the point. I hope you got something from today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.